and welcome to another bookish video from me, Johanna, me, my dog and books. And today I'm finally doing the Meet the Booktuber video, or just a Q&A. Thanks to all you lovely folks that left me questions on my community tab when I celebrated 1 full year on BookTube this month. It was the start of the month. And so in return I thought, ask me anything, I'll attempt to reply. And so I've got the blankie, I've got a wee blankie. I've got my notepad where I wrote down all the questions you'd kindly asked. And I have a cup of tea. So grab yourself a cuppa, sit down, and let's have a little chair. In no particular order. I thought organised me would do the whole let's put them into categories, yada yada yada. No, I didn't. I am literally just going to read them as a mishmash of questions. There's some bookish ones, there's some sort of personal ones, there's like non-bookish ones, which maybe is some of the personal ones. So I will just go through them in no particular order. And if I've missed any of the, hopefully I haven't missed any of the questions. But also this is your opportunity to ask me anything else in the comments. You can have a wee bash at any other question that pops up from watching this video. Please do. I'm happy to share. And in true style, I start by having a yawn. Great. Yes. Just permanently tired. Let me get my owl cushion ready. And the first question is, what do I like best about my house? Well, I have to say, I like loads of things. I like the coziness. I like the fact that I'm privileged enough to be able to own my own home. Well, the bank owns it. I pay the bank for my mortgage. But I have a cosy fire, and I suppose one of my favourite things is the fact that we used to live in a flat which had an internal kitchen with no windows. So it was just an internal kitchen and we didn't have a back garden. So I think I have to say the fact we have a pretty decent sized garden and a kitchen that has windows. That was always on a dining table, because we used to just have those, we actually still have them on the odd occasion that we decide to sit at the couch. The TV sort of fold out tables, that's all we had. We didn't have space for a dining table and chairs. So those are my things that I'm very happy about. I've often watched videos with people like in those like tiny houses, and I'd love to be able to be in like a tiny house. Like I'd love to be able to be that compact, be able to live that compact. But I think we can tell already by the books around me, etc, etc. I would have a challenge. I mean, I already have a challenge trying to pack for a holiday. It's now like a competition that David sets me, is to see how little I can pack if possible. Like there's going to be a prize for it, but there never is. And then there's a couple of questions here which are about, one is YouTubey and the rest are kind of general questions. So plans for 2025. Well, as someone that often makes plans and challenges and resolutions, just with how unknown and how wild the world is right now, I've kind of made not many plans in 2025. I want to stay fit and healthy. That's a really dull one, I know, but sometimes I think when you've got people around you who maybe don't keep well, or and other things, it kind of does make you realise very privileged to have your health if you have it. So I want to work on keeping that and doing more of my yoga and my running. As you'll see from my weekend vlogs, I tend to squeeze some stuff in then. I think days where I work in the office, I struggle to do much running or anything after work and stuff because it's dark. But once the lighter nights come in, I'll be able to do a bit more of that. But mostly to read more of the books I own, to do more sort of experiences than buy things in 2025. That's maybe going to like cinema or museums and stuff, to hopefully go on a couple of holidays. We have a few. There was a travel plans question, so we'll come back to that. And just enjoy time with the pups. It's pretty simple, I say, but depending where you live in the world, that might be quite a big thing. My workday morning routine, what is it? Well, I'd love to say I don't have a routine, but I do. I'm a person that likes routine and familiarity and lists. So I maybe said this in previous videos. I work full time, but I work full time over 4 days, so I work longer days and I have a Monday off. I only started trying that in August. Yeah, I'm just past my 6 months trial for that, so fingers crossed. It looks like I might be able to retain that. Anywho's, so of those 4 full working days, I am 2 days in the office and 2 days at home. So Tuesday, Friday, so it's kind of my start and end of the week, I'm at home, which is quite good. My at-home routine, which is not too dissimilar to the days I'm in the office, get up super early, like 5:45, walk the dogs for about 20 to 30 minutes, get them back in the house, feed them, give them their chews, then I put my normally porridge or cereal on, get ready. If I'm at home, I'll put a pot of filter coffee on, normally decaf. I'll put a pot of that on and drink that throughout the morning. And if I'm not going into the office, I'll sit and hopefully, because I start work at 8, and I'll sit and read my book and have a cup of coffee before logging on to my laptop. Excuse me. And if I am in the office, it's a wee bit tighter. I've normally prepped my lunch the night before because I tend to just eat leftovers and stuff. And I will get up, do the same walking routine, and then instead of sitting having coffee and reading a book, I get myself on, I leave the house 7:15 and I'm on the train into work, which is only 20 minutes, and then in the office. And when I get into the office, I normally have my second breakfast, which is like toast and banana normally, and my tea, and I'm like always the first one in our department in. So I get all set up and underway, and so I'm fully switched on pretty much by the time everybody else comes in at the office. So that's my working morning routine. At the weekend, I spend a good few hours in my bed reading with the doggos around me. Who do I subscribe to on YouTube? Well, there's Lauren in the books. I'll actually put a list of some of them in the description because I know for a fact I'll forget some of their names. So I'll tag them all in the description. Some of my books, booktubers I definitely watch. There's Lauren in the books, Savage Reads, so it's Simon Savage. My book talker friend Michaela, which is What Is Michaela Reading? Bixalala, Gabby Reads. Is it Ali does a read? I can't remember that one. Jen's Reading Life, of course. Quite a lot of some of you guys that comment on my channel. I knew I was gonna. Do you know what I mean? Oh, Jordaline. So is it Jordan Reads? Have a look in the description because I promise I've put a list of them there of ones that are like my go-to that I'll watch every week, pretty much. Because there's some like I can see in my head and I've forgotten their handle that I definitely read. Oh, Jen. The other Jen, not Jen's Reading Life, there's another Jen I watch. Anyway, I'll put them all in the description because my brain is not working. What's in my bag was a question. So it kind of depends on my bag. in my wee, like I always have a wee kind of over the shoulder bag. In that I've got, I'll always carry my medication. I've normally got lip balm, hand cream, my purse, glasses, my wipe for my glasses. Normally a packet of peppermint tea or two, my phone, and currently my prescription for my thingies, because it's got my receipt for the glasses I need to go and pick up at the weekend. And if I've got my backpack or anything going into work or another bag with me, I guarantee you there will be some level of snacks in there. Excuse me, when I'm going to work, that will be have my lunch, I'll have my water bottle, I'll have fruit, possibly a naked bar. Mostly it'd be my laptop, my notepad, an umbrella, but mostly snacks. And always a book. In all of these bags there is always a book. Always. Possibly two. Travel plans. What are my travel plans? Oh, well, very soon I am going snowboarding with OH, which we do every year. I think I would have taken you last year. We've been snowboarding for 17 years maybe. So we go to different places, mostly in Europe. Can't afford to go to Canada or Japan. That would be bucket list for shizzles. But going to mainland Europe, and last year we went to Italy. This year we are going to Châtel in France, in the French Alps. So you get to see a bit of that. That is our main holiday of the year. It's our kind of most expensive holiday because snowboarding isn't cheap. So that's our main holiday that we'll always kind of prioritise. And we do a lot of staycationing. We'll do like weekend trips. So we'll maybe do a bit of camping, or we'll go and stay at our friend's house. They've got a house in Argyll and Bute in Ardrisig, which is lovely. So I do, because we go away for a week, I do miss the doggos. Terrible at missing the doggos. Like really bad. I get bad separation anxiety. So I try and do as many things with them as I can. But later on in the year, I don't normally do summer holidays. Well, I don't do beach holidays because I have an inability to lie down still for long. So if we go anywhere, it's normally like we're out and about doing stuff. But anyways, and I'm not very good in the heat, but the other half does like a bit of sunshine. So we're going to go to Portugal for like 6 days or something. So you can get sunshine. He'll probably play a game of golf. I'll have a book and do some tutoring around, I think, is the rough plans. And I hope also to be catching up and having a couple of meetups with some of my bookish friends as well in real life, which might be the odd weekend away or a big grand day out, which obviously I'll take you on, obviously. So those are my rough travel plans, which I am aware that I'm very privileged to be able to go and do if one can afford it. But I do love exploring and exploring new bits of Scotland, because I've not been all, I mean, even though Scotland's a very small country, there's parts of Scotland I haven't been to before. Sorry, I'm just doing a nosy of a car that's come down and then reversing the street, because I'm like one of those people, like twitchy curtain people. Like, what's going on in my neighbourhood? Because it's so quiet, so I'm always like, anyway, I digress. Yes, exploring my home country. I like to do more of that as well. Oh, now to some bookish questions that are really much more taxing on my brain. It is, if I could only read 5 books for the rest of my life, what would they be? Right, it would definitely be a Stephen King. And if I can't take 2 Stephen Kings, it's toss up between Misery and The Shining. Possibly Misery, but I don't know. Between those two, old faves. Then I think I would definitely go for like a Fredrik Backman. Maybe something like the first Backman I read, which is a man called Ove. Is it Ove? Ove? Oh, I do normally check how I'm supposed to pronounce it and then I forget. Either that or Anxious People, I can't decide. So one of those I know I should only pick 5, right? But this is good for me. Tender is the Flesh by Augustina Bazterrica, for sure. It's one of my favourite horrors. It's a horror novella. Is it? Well, it's short. It's maybe not a novella. It's about 200 odd pages. Loved it. About cannibalism. It's amazing. Is that 3? Alice in Wonderland. And I think I would maybe go for, oh, see, I don't know. So there's Grady, Hendrix. See, Riley Sager's an auto-buy, but I'm like, once you've read the thriller, you know the twist. So it would maybe either be Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, or completely differently, The Great Alone by Kristin Hannah, which was my first Kristin Hannah. Still one of my faves, but it got me onto Kristin Hannah as a auto-buy author, to be honest. I think that was more than 5, but you know, in the ballpark. I've also been asked if I am a rereader. If not, why? And if yes, what are your faves to reread? So I am not a big rereader. I do reread on the odd occasion, and sometimes, well, I'll definitely reread loads of Stephen King's. Like, I've read Misery tons of times, Pet Sematary. I would like to reread Salem's Lot because I've not read that for a while. So Stephen King's are a given, so I'm not going to list all of them, but I would reread Stephen King's, apart from the ones that I don't like of his, which aren't very many, but I'm not a big fan of the Dark Tower series. I can get past book 1. I reread A Christmas Carol every year. It's the only Charles Dickens I will read. And what other ones? My favourite, Alice in Wonderland. I would probably read Pages & Co, which is a middle grade series, which I've read 3 of the 5 or 4 of the 5, and I want to reread them. World War Z, one of my favourite books, I would reread and have twice, 3 times, I think. It's an eclectic mix, but I am thinking that there's probably an outstanding obvious book that I've forgotten to mention. But I can't think of it right now. Then a non-bookish question is top five vegan meals I like to make. So if you didn't know, I'm a vegan. I'm also sober, so I sound like the worst party pooper in the world ever, but I'm not, I absolutely promise you. I'm also a vegan who doesn't bang on about being vegan, because I know that can be annoying for some people. So I only answer questions about my veganism if asked, because I don't want to be one of those people who's like shoves it down people's throats. So my top 5 vegan meals are 3 bean chili. And actually, I would say most of my top vegan meals are iterations or in some way connected to some of my favourite meals I ate when I wasn't vegan. So 3 bean chili. I make a lot of curries. I absolutely adore veg curries. So I would say either a chana masala, which is like a chickpea spinach curry, or an aloo type curry, which is a curry that's got potato. I do like a potato cauliflower. I can make a Rogan Josh, or like a buna, or do piazza, or a madras, tikka masala. Curries are my like go-to, like honestly you can make it with any veg as well. So those are 2, so a curry I'll just say. I do love making enchiladas. So enchiladas, they normally make it with a lentil filling, spicy lentil filling. Do homemade pizza and chips. Normally get the pizza dough. My other half likes vegan cheese. I'm not that fussed, so I normally just have it without the cheese. I quite like making Oh, I do love like tofu Asian noodles. So like some sort of Asian tofu dish with noodles. Delicioso. And try to think back if there's any recipes I've made recently like I really like. Sometimes make like a Southwest mac and cheese. Now you can make vegan mac and cheese with vegan cheese. I tend not to because I'm not only because I try and not eat too much processed food. That's a whole other conversation. It's a me thing. You don't need to worry about it. So normally when I make mac and cheese, it is I make the cheese sauce with, it's a recipe, forks over knives recipe, excuse me, and it uses potato, carrot, onion, turmeric and nutritional yeast and cashews, and that magically somehow makes a cheese sauce, and I'll have that with macaroni. And I do love a veg lasagna. I love any sort of, like a wagamama, if any vegan wagamamas, which is not me making any of that, that's me ordering in. So they are some of my vegan meals. Totally jumping topic is, do you have any gardening plans? Well, funnily enough today, which I was finishing off the forthcoming weekend reading vlog, I was doing a bit of gardening for the first time this year, which was cutting down all the kind of dead plants that are along the back of my garden, which is a bit of a work in progress, because they'd been looking dead since about November, and I hadn't done that. So that's all tidied up and cut away and cut back all the ornamental grass I've got, which sits under the tree. And so this year, I think, so we used to have, I'm pointing over here because this is where my patio is, like decking that went across the entire like width of the back. Now half of it was rotted, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very expensive to keep up with decking, so we've kept like a third of it, and the other 2/3 we had dismantled, we flattened it. A lot of this work we did last year, and we put gravel down, and David put sleepers down, and so round the kind of sleeper back bit I've got the chance to I've planted wild seeds, but I need to plant some good sturdy trees, or not trees, plants that maybe grow up the fence a little bit. So I need to do a little bit of that, getting my lots of pots, and also my greenhouse back, because I got a wee plastic greenhouse, I put it away in the winter, and I'll get David to bring it back out for me. It's a wee slim one, and I wasn't very successful with any of my seeds last year, because I think I all left it too late, because I got very excited and got my greenhouse all a bit late in the day. And what I would like to do is plant some loads of flower seeds, so that I can top up my planters and my hanging baskets, and I've got some window boxes at the front of this. So I would like to grow little plants. I'm not really a fruit and veg type grower apart from herbs, so I'd like to grow little flowers that I'd be able to then replant around the garden, which is the grand plan. And so when we come back our winter holiday, we've still got a few months of winter storm weather, but I will get the greenhouse out and get planning, of which you'll get to enjoy, I'm sure. One question was, there was two kind of relating to my job. One is, what is your job? And my job is, I'm a digital marketing manager for a part of Glasgow City Council, and it's we're an ALIO, an arm's length organisation of the council, and so we're a charitable organisation, but we're mostly funded by the council, because our organisation looks after mostly all public culture and sport within the city. So that includes Glasgow City's libraries, museums, our concert hall, the fruit market, Old Fruit Market, which is a concert gig, City Halls, which is also where a lot of the orchestras and stuff play. Did I say the local gyms? So Glasgow Club gyms. As well as arts venues as well, like Tramway, which would be visiting in this weekend reading vlog, and a lot of the cultural and sporting events. So like Celtic Connections is on just now, which is UK, if not the world's biggest winter Celtic music, trad music festival, which is taking place. And then we've got the World Pipe Band Championships, Mela, Merchant City Festival, all those, and loads of cultural events and festivals that happen in exhibitions. So that is what our organisation does. Within that organisation, I work in the marketing department, and I work in a small digital team within the marketing department, and my full job title is Digital Marketing Manager, Content and Channels. So I'm mostly content creating and managing our social media channel estate, as well as doing social media advertising. So that is my day job. And the question then following that is, if you could do any job in the world, what would it be? I don't know. Well, it used to be I would love to have been a librarian. And then I thought, you need to work with the public. And then I thought, you know, I would maybe love to be like a social justice campaigner. But then that's a very mentally exhausting job. So I always think librarian. I wouldn't want to, but like to work in like a library like, you know, like New York Public Library or Boston Public Library, like one of these big libraries that, like, we've got a big library in the city called the Mitchell Library, which is stunning, right? But it doesn't have, like, it's a very old building, but unlike Boston and New York, they probably don't have the same level of funding. So I would love to do something in books or work in, well, I say that because I would say, oh, or work in marketing of a publishing house, but then I'm like, then my hobby becomes a job, and I'm not sure that's what I'd want to do, to be honest. I don't know. Nowadays, when you look at all the changes that are happening with AI and toxicity of social media and la la la, I do think, like, I should have maybe just trained as a plumber, you know, a very hands-on, practical job. And then, alongside a question like that was, if I could invite 4 famous people to tea, who would it be? Well, I think one of them would have to be Steve Martin, because I loved Steve Martin when I was growing up. I used to pretend he was my dad. That's maybe something for therapy. But, like, I love Steve Martin films, even like Cheaper by the Dozen. And I don't even have kids, but I will literally watch those films. I love his stand-up. And I've always just found him quite a comical character. So I would say Steve Martin. Then Angela Lansbury, who plays Jessica Fletcher. I think she would be amazing if she could maybe come as Jessica Fletcher. Stephen King, of course. And then I need to balance it off, because we can't have more men than women. And so, you know, the obvious ones like Audrey Hepburn, who I was a massive fan of, as well as Marilyn Monroe back in the day. But I'm kind of like, would I want someone from like today to now, someone that's big in like social justice and I would find really inspiring, like Jane Fonda, you know, someone like her. I think that's an eclectic group of people for tea, isn't it? Ask me any other day and it might be different choices. And last but not least is a question I kind of giggled at, and but only because I was like, oh, I should maybe do this more often. And the question was, do you ever ask strangers what books they are reading? Now, if I see strangers on most likely a train, or it's normally in some form of travelling, commuting to work or whatever, but if I do see strangers or in a cafe or something, and if they're reading a book, I'm always like trying to see what they're reading. Lucy, there's nothing there. Let's see. Your wee head poking up. It was like a protest bark, the last minute protest bark. So I normally do a kind of stealth look to see if I can see what they're reading, and then maybe if I see it and it's a book I've read and liked, I'll probably go, oh, I've read that, I really liked it, I hope you're enjoying it. But I've tended not to go like, oh hi, what you reading? I'm not sure why, because I'm a mega antisocial introvert, but books are the one thing that could absolutely connect me, and so now I'm thinking maybe I should do that more often. So I'm going to do that more often, mostly just when no one asks, like, because, you know, I don't want it to, only because women are better. No, I'm joking, I'll edit that bit out. Yeah, might try doing that a bit more. So like when I get the train into work this week, if I notice somebody's reading a book, there is always at least two people in the same carriage as me, you know, like, because you gravitate towards the same seat. Or is that just me? Like, I gravitate to the same carriage and roughly the same seat, and so do a couple of people that are there sitting there. And two women are always reading a book, and one of them I think has a similar taste to me because I've intermittently seen what she's reading, and the other I couldn't tell what she's reading. I'm like, why haven't I asked? Maybe I should. Anyway, that was a mishmash of a lot of different questions about a lot of different things. Thank you everybody who put in a question on my wee request to do this kind of meet the booktuber Q&A, ask me anything kind of, I don't know what I'm going to call this video, I'll figure that out when I'm editing it, because I love to see like what you're interested in hearing about me, or about the channel, or about anything, and so I really enjoyed. And to be honest, I wrote down all the questions, right, and didn't overly think about the answers before I sat down to record it. I probably finished writing down all the questions about 15 minutes before I sat down to record this. So most of this was off the top of my head answers, which I suppose would be how it would be if we did like a live Q&A or a live chitter chatter. So I didn't want to overly plan it or think about it. So hopefully you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about me. If you what I like to read, or the channel, or my plans, and if you've got any other questions you want to ask me in the comments, please do fire away. Would you like me to do another one of these in the, you know, in a year's time, if I'm still here, people are still watching? Let me know in the comments, it'd be great to know. And thank you as always for watching, for liking, and for commenting if you got this far, and have enjoyed watching. Please give me a flower emoji. I know we're only in January, but I do feel glimmers of more daylight, and we mentioned garden plants, so it got me thinking about flowers. Just put one of them in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in another bookish video very soon. And if you don't already, please do subscribe if you'd like to see more of this face talk about books. I'd love you to be part of my community, our community, and chat books with you. So keep the conversation going in the comments, and I'll see you in another bookish video very soon. Bye!